Imagine being young, reckless, and hungry for adventure, only to end up trapped in one of the world's most brutal prisons. This is the true story of Billy Hayes, the American who risked everything for a quick fortune, was sentenced to life in a Turkish prison, and pulled off one of the most daring escapes of the 20th century. This is the real Midnight Express. The restless spirit, William Billy. Hayes was born on April 3rd, 1947, in the Bronx, New York. Raised in a middle-class family, he grew up with a younger brother and sister, and by 1964, he had graduated from Seton Hall High School. Though he studied journalism at Marquette University, Billy's restless spirit led him away from a safe career path. He dropped out to chase adventure, surfing, skydiving, writing, and traveling. To avoid the Vietnam draft, he even faked a psychiatric report. By the late 1960s, Billy had developed a dangerous idea: smuggling hashish from Turkey to the United States. Smuggling dreams. 1969 to 1970. In April 1969, Billy traveled to Istanbul. With 2 kilos of hashish hidden in a cast on his leg, he flew back to the US and made a fortune. Buying hash for $300 and selling it for nearly $5,000. Hayes thought he had outsmarted the system. He made several trips between 1969 and 1970, changing routes to avoid suspicion. But overconfidence became his downfall. On October 7th, 1970, during heightened airport security following airplane hijackings, Billy was caught at Istanbul airport with 2 kilos of hash strapped to his body. Trial and cruel twist of fate. At first, the Turkish courts sentenced Billy to 4 years in prison for possession. He held on to hope, thinking he would soon be free. But just 53 days before his release in 1973, the prosecutor appealed. The court ruled that Billy wasn't just possessing drugs, he was smuggling. His sentence was increased to life imprisonment. This wasn't just about Billy. At the time, President Nixon was waging a global war on drugs, with most heroin in America traced back to Turkey. The Turkish government cracked down hard. Billy became a symbol of this fight and a victim of politics. Hell behind bars. 1970 to 1975. Billy's prison journey was brutal. He first landed in Samulcular prison in Istanbul, infamous for its overcrowding and violence. After incidents, he was briefly transferred to a psychiatric hospital, an experience he described as terrifying. His family suffered too. His father mortgaged their house to pay for lawyers and long trips to Turkey. His mother never found the courage to visit him in prison. By 1975, Turkey granted amnesty that reduced his life sentence to 30 years. And Billy was transferred to İmralı prison, an island fortress in the Sea of Marmara. It was here that Billy made his boldest decision yet: to escape or die trying. The Great Escape, October 1975. On a stormy night, October 2nd, 1975, Billy slipped into the harbor waters of İmralı. He found a dinghy tied to a cargo boat and began rowing across the dark, dangerous sea. After 27 kilometers, he reached the mainland near Bandırma. From there, he boarded a bus to Istanbul. then tried to find help near the Greek border. But crossing into Greece was almost impossible. Fortified, guarded, and dangerous. With no legal papers, Billy risked everything once more. Under the cover of darkness, he swam across a river and slipped into Greece. After weeks of interrogation by Greek authorities, Billy was deported to Frankfurt on October 20th, 1975, and finally made his way back to the United States. Arriving at JFK Airport on October 24th, 1975. Midnight Express and Redemption. In 1977, Billy wrote his memory, Midnight Express, exposing the cruelty of Turkish prisons and his dramatic escape. A year later, Oliver Stone adapted it into the Oscar-winning film Midnight Express. The movie shocked the world, but also angered Turkey, as it portrayed all Turks in a negative light. Billy later admitted he regretted the way the film damaged Turkey's image. After his release, Billy built a career in writing, acting, and public speaking. He shared his story on stage, in plays, on television, and even hosted a series called Greatest Prison Escapes. In 2007, more than 30 years after his escape, Billy Hayes finally returned to Turkey, not as a fugitive, but as a guest. He publicly apologized for the way Midnight Express had hurt Turkey's reputation, saying, "The film wasn't what Turkish people deserved." Billy Hayes' story is one of youthful recklessness, harsh punishment, and the unbreakable human will to be free. From a smuggler blinded by arrogance, to a prisoner lost in despair, to an escapee rowing for his life across a stormy sea, Billy Hayes became a living legend, the man who rode the real Midnight Express.